All right, welcome back to the Beans No Ball podcast. I'm David, that's Christian, and welcome to episode 3. Let's just get it going.
So this episode we're going over the week 1 review about the games, and then we will do a week 2 preview. So to start things off, let's go by order by each game. So start with the Bills at the Rams. David, would you like to take the lead on this?
I will, and I mean, let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away. And then this is called how it was. It was an ugly game by both teams. I mean, the first half it was ugly, filled with turnovers. Just starting off with Josh Allen. I mean, that one really wasn't his fault, that first one. I mean, it's a ball that really should have been caught and just ends up getting tipped into Terrell Lewis's hands. I mean, obviously I'm hyped with that, but I mean, then the Rams don't even capitalize on it, so it starts looking bad. And then the fumble after that right away Stafford throws the interception to give the ball right back to the Bills, and which, as a Rams fan, just the whole fan base, you're used to Stafford throwing interceptions. He was tied with Trevor Lawrence with the most interceptions last year. It's something you don't really want to see, but you put up with it over last season, and you hope it changes. But obviously 3 interceptions in this game, it didn't look too good. So you just see, I mean, my main thing was at halftime it's 10-10, and you're thinking, I mean, the Rams are a real good second half team. It's looking like we'll be all right. We started rough, but we'll get back in it. And just right in the second half, right away, the Bills just took off. I mean, Josh Allen, he's showing why he's probably the MVP candidate right now. And I mean, just right away, just look at the score, 31-10. And just that, I mean, evident by that bomb he threw to Stephon Diggs. Really, everyone wants to show how he cooked Jalen Ramsey, which you can make the argument that it was more of a mental error, really. But it's like, I mean, you can't really expect safety help when you're, the best corner in the game. And yeah, but it's like he said in an interview earlier this week. I mean, we got our ass beat, but it's just about getting back up and regrouping.
Yeah, man. Honestly, it was a very, very bad game for Stafford. Not so much the whole team, even though there were some errors between all, except Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp doing what he does best. Still went 13 receptions, 128 yards. Still managed to get a touchdown. But overall, it was just a really bad performance by the whole team. I coming back home looking at the score and Bills are up 10-0. I'm like, damn, what's going on? Then I look back again and it's tied up. So I'm like, maybe Rams can come back. So I'm like, second half, like, okay, maybe we can actually see some good football right now. Next thing you know, Stephon burns Diggs, leaves him in the dust, and then the Bills just take over from that. Then Matthew Stafford, those interceptions have to stop. Like, he was rushing it way too much, and I think he was relying on Cooper Kupp too much. Like, you have Allen Robinson, and you have Von Jefferson. Those are 2 good receivers that I would consider.
Jefferson's out, so you gotta look at that.
Yeah,
but, it's mainly Robinson, but
yeah, he could have utilized Robinson.
You don't want to look at Skoranek or Tutu Atwell too much, because they really haven't grown as much as you want yet. But I mean, really, when Kupp isn't open, you gotta find your other options.
Yeah, there's some plays where Robinson, they couldn't even get open. Understandable. There's plays where he was able to get open, but I don't know why Stafford wasn't looking his direction. I think he was just focused way too much on Cooper Kupp. Like, you can't rely on just one receiver to get you touchdowns. Overall, it was just really bad gameplay by the Rams, and who knows, maybe they'll bounce back next week. Just week 1, there's not really too much to really be bad about, but hey, it's Matthew Stafford. He needs to control those. He just needs to stop throwing those interceptions, those stupid interceptions. He almost had another interception. Literally at the end of the game, almost, and it was dropped.
It starts with Matthew Stafford, obviously, but then at the same time, you look at the run game, and that was just non-existent. It's the O-line. The O-line and both. Cam Akers didn't even have any playing time, but Darrell Henderson. I mean, you gotta regroup, and you gotta. I mean, you gotta game plan better. Everything overall.
No progression. No pass protection, not even run protection. That O-line is beat up. but they got a lot. They got a lot of work to do. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. So
All right,
yeah, so that one, let's move right on along from that ugly game for my team. Let's go to the Saints and the Falcons.
That game was
start off with what we know right away. The Falcons, the same old chokers as we know them. They were up 26-19, I think. They were up pretty big, 26-10, I think, actually. They were up pretty big with like 11 minutes left in the quarter, and just as usual, they find a way to blow it. They let Jameis get back into the game. They let him cook. Michael Thomas, he's back like he never left, man. He's looking great.
He looked very, very good.
That's the main thing you got to talk about. I mean, there's obviously all the slant boy jokes, everything, but I mean, hey, he looked good.
He looked very decent, and I low-key thought the Falcons were gonna get away with this, but famous Jameis doing what he does best, leading that comeback. And I was also very, very happy to see Jarvis Landry going back to his old stuff. Seven catches for 114 yards. Really put a smile on my face. Jarvis Landry. Always loved Jarvis Landry, especially when he was with Miami. I'm just glad to see he's back to his normal self. Hopefully he can keep progressing from this game and be more consistent. Hopefully it just wasn't one good game. But I'm very happy for Landry. And again with the Falcons, couldn't do anything. Cordell Patterson, going for 120 yards and a touchdown. Falcons could capitalize on that. It was just really, really disappointing. Patterson was basically carrying at that point. I think Mariota was starting, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he got a pretty good drive to make it.
He looked really
they were about if they got a little closer, they probably would have won it. But I mean, they only got into range for a 63-yard field goal for Younghoe Koo, and I mean, it's hard enough, and he missed it, so that makes sense. They just didn't do enough. They were giving real little time, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So on. This is probably one of the biggest shockers we saw this week. I mean, in the rain in Soldier Field, the Bears take down the 49ers 19-10. And
it was a very good game.
I mean, Fields. I mean, well, overall, I mean, it wasn't a real nice game at all. But I mean,
both quarterbacks
Fields did enough.
Yeah, both quarterbacks were struggling in the beginning, but Fields just came on top of this game. I thought Niners were up. What was it, 10-0?
I think they were up to nothing.
I was very surprised when the Bears took a 19. Not 19. I'm sorry. When they took a 9-point lead. Because I didn't think Trey Lance would lead that comeback, especially how poorly he played. Only completing 13 out of his 28 passes, going 164 yards and an interception. The run game, 54 yards, not bad, but Jennings too, really didn't play much. He did go for 62 yards, but it didn't really contribute much to the Niners winning. So I don't know where Trey Lance would capitalize off this game. He's gonna really have to step it up after winning that job over Jimmy Garoppolo, because the Bears, Justin Fields looked really decent towards the end, especially him sliding after that dub. I actually have high hopes now for Justin Fields. If he keeps playing like that at a better level, I feel like the Bears can possibly go far. But it was just disappointment from the Niners. I low-key thought they would get that one.
And the thing to me is you shove Jimmy Garoppolo to the side real easily, and this is what you're getting from Trey Lance. So I mean, it's pretty alarming to at least to start, because I mean, sure, it's in harsh conditions.
It's understandable why they didn't stick with Jimmy G, because think about it, Jimmy G's not a bad QB. He has a very good starting record with the Niners. It's just he's not very well under pressure. We already seen in the Super Bowl, he was up 10. They were up 10, and he just couldn't finish. He was choking way too much. That's the thing about Jimmy G. I love Jimmy G, but he just chokes under pressure way too much. Even in the playoffs against the Rams last year, he just doesn't know how to overcome that. And that's the thing that the Niners struggle for. Jimmy G can't fix his ways on choking, and it's understandable why the Niners moved on to Trey Lance. But if Trey Lance keeps playing like this, I don't see the Niners going far this season.
Yeah, I mean that's basically that's basically what my thoughts exactly. And I mean the whole deal is, I mean he's probably on his way out. if you really think about it. I mean, there's still rumors that he's going to get traded, and I mean, we'll just wait and see how that turns out in the coming weeks.
All right, so moving on to the next game. Very good game. Steelers at the Bengals. This was a very horrible game for Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
What was it? 4 interceptions.
The first throw of the game. First throw of the game, a pick six.
First throw, pick six to Mika and Fitzpatrick. That was.
Mika Fitzpatrick had a wonderful game.
I didn't expect anyone else. When I saw that was Mika, I was like, oh, it's Mika. You know, what do you expect? So I'm like, maybe Jimmy G can turn around, you know? But after he threw 3 more, I was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on with him?
And the fumble.
Like, not the same.
He had 5 turnovers. And that's just the thing that, I mean, he's got all that hype that he was just like, you know, the everyone's favorite player throughout the postseason. But I mean, you really look into the stats, it's like, I mean, he struggled, and I mean, it showed this week too. I mean, he didn't have a good game. He had probably one of his poorest games in his career this week, and
the O-line still being atrocious.
Yeah, would he get sacked like 7 times again? Yeah,
5 times.
Something. He got sacked a lot this week, and
even though added Lalo Collins to the line really didn't help anything. He was getting cooked. He was getting burned. Lalo Collins, he was getting beat a lot.
And then one of the biggest storylines of this week, the kickers. I mean, this is one of the ones that the extra point.
I literally called it.
Yeah, you did. No, the extra point that should have given them the win. That one's understandable. Fitzpatrick, wonderful game. He blocked that one. That you could see. But the one that should have been the game winner from McPherson at 30, it was a 29-yarder, and he just absolutely shanked it to the left. I mean, that's just inexcusable. He's supposed to be. I mean, well, he's known as the one of the best kickers right now, and he looks like he's struggling. He I mean, who knows what ends up happening? But I mean, you hope he gets it back just for the Bengals' sake.
Even Boswell missing that kick too. I was actually very surprised from Boswell. He barely missed this. I was actually very surprising, but Steelers came out with the victory, and it was very, very shocking. You know, Jamar Chase still being Jamar Chase. You know,
I mean, just that wonderful catch. I should have won it.
It should have been the game winner. It really should, but Mika Fitzpatrick's that guy.
Yeah, and I mean, sure, I mean, the Steelers did get the win, but they suffer a big blow. TJ Watt, he had that pec injury. He's probably going to be out for a couple weeks. That's going to be a real big hit for the Steelers defense.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have the Eagles and the Lions game. This was another very interesting game. Would you like to start things off?
Yeah, I mean, both teams, I mean, honestly, you just see it. I mean, you expected the Eagles to just absolutely pull away with this. I mean, sure, the Lions have heart and everything, but you expected, I mean, Jalen Hurts to do maybe a little better. I mean, he had a good game, but they just started really faltering at the end. I mean, they did go into halftime at 24-14, and they were looking like they were cruising. And then all of a sudden, the Jared Goff just leads that comeback, and it was 38-35. He cut it to a 3-point game, which
it was very.
It's a good sign for the Lions, but it's just the same story as last year. They show that heart. They play good at the end, but it just isn't enough.
They can't finish. They really can't finish. You know, Jalen Hurts, like, he had a decent game, but could have been better. You know, just only completing 18 passes from 32. That's, I don't know. If I'm an Eagles fan, I would be a little concerned for that. But, I mean, Brown, phenomenal. 10 catches for 155 yards.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about Jalen Hurts, it's like you see a lot of Lamar in him. That it's like, I mean, he's great running the ball, but it's just, I mean, he has a way to go throwing the ball. And I mean, if he develops that down, I mean, he could be an MVP level quarterback just like Lamar was in 2019.
Jalen Hurts, it's very consistent because, you know, you have some quarterbacks that are like always good throwing and then have like maybe a little bad throws there, you know, or they can be really consistent, just have a little bad throw. With Jalen Hurts, it's like super inconsistent. He be having good throws, bad throws, good throws, bad throws, like back to back. It's very, very confusing, but, you know, I think Jalen Hurts could possibly improve from this. But if that doesn't happen, I would be worried as an Eagles fan, especially almost losing to the Lions after having a decent lead, right? And cutting it to just a 3-point game really shows a lot.
Yeah, but in the end, I mean, a win's a win, and the Eagles are 1-0. So with Lamar as the conversation point right now, let's move on to the Ravens against the Jets. This one was over before it started right away. I mean, 24-9, really good game by Lamar. 3 touchdowns. He's just, I mean, he's making himself worth that contract that he's fighting for.
It really is. I mean, the Jets, Joe Flacco, I mean, threw 59 passes, managed to get 300 yards, but Jets couldn't really do it.
Garbage time though. It's just,
it was garbage time. It was garbage time. There's nothing really much to say. Jets being the Jets until I would say Zach Wilson comes back.
Yeah, I mean, when Zach Wilson comes back, we'll see the development he made over the offseason, but it's going to be a rough couple weeks right now for the Jets. I mean, the one positive you could see from them is Sauce Gardner. He looked really good on defense. It was hard with. I mean, they were struggling overall, but I mean, he broke up a good amount of good passes, and I mean,
that was a very good game for him.
Yeah, that's a nice kind of glimpse of the future for the Jets if they hold on.
I think it's going to be a very, very long season for the Jets once again, but we'll see how it goes.
So let's move on to the Jaguars against the Commanders. This was one of the ones that we were both split on, and you took the correct call on this one, saying that the Commanders ended up taking it. And I mean, that's probably an easy pick to make for some, but I mean, I thought Trevor Lawrence would step up a little more, and he did have a decent game, but at the same time, the Jaguars defense, they couldn't contain that lead they built up. I mean, they ended up they did go on a 19 points scoreless run in the middle of that game, but Carson Wentz he did step up and got them back ahead, and they didn't look back once they took the lead.
Yeah. Carson was struggling a bit, but second half hit, and he decided to bounce back and leading to 4 touchdowns, man. That's very good. I'm not gonna lie. Touchdowns for having a lot of doubts. I never liked Carson Wentz because of the Dak and Wentz debate, but that was already settled. But we're not talking about that right now. But yeah, I mean, still, what's it called? Barely 6-point game. I mean, to the Jaguars. This says a lot. I mean, they did come back, which is well, but. Same with the Eagles.
I mean, at the same time, it's 2 teams that they're probably fighting for top 10 picks. So it's not much to be said about this matchup. So I mean, it's probably gonna wait and see when both of these teams start playing a little higher competition. If maybe they do really tell us more about how they'll do this year.
So moving on, we did skip one game, which was the Patriots and the Dolphins. We did forget that one, Patriots, I looked out there, but Dolphins came away with it.
Yeah, Tua looks solid, honestly.
Tua looked okay, regardless of those those couple bad throws. But other than that, Tua did really, really well. Tyreek Hill just 6 yards shy of 100 yards. But other than that, they looked very, very well, and they really proved me wrong.
Something to think about: the Patriots, that defense doesn't look really good at all.
Yeah, they really proved me wrong. That they didn't do very well, especially on offense too.
It looks like Mac Jones has a good way to go too.
Yeah, and then Mac Jones with that back injury, I think, but I think he's fine now. But Mac Jones, man, I expected a lot from Mac Jones, especially that. What's it called? That midseason blow up last from last year, and then that abomination of that playoff game that they lost to the Bills. But I don't know, man. I low-key thought Mac Jones would probably put up a good amount of points with the Patriots, but Mac Jones right now, it's week 1, obviously, but they're not look good for Mac Jones. And in the next 5 weeks, if he doesn't progress, I don't think the Patriots can go far. Even though I did say
that is your Super Bowl pick.
After that, after the Bills play, how the Patriots played, we'll be having second thoughts, but I'm sticking with what I said.
We'll see how that turns out. So moving on to the big revenge game of the week, we get the Browns and the Panthers. And Baker disappointed, honestly.
It was a huge disappointment by Baker.
Even though he did stage that nice comeback, a beautiful 75-yard touchdown to Robbie Anderson. That was really nice to see from him. But I mean, in the end, it wasn't enough. They did take the lead, but Jacoby Brissett, he drove them down, and they ended up getting that field goal. Cade York, a really nice a long kick to get him the win.
It was very surprising for him to hit 58 yards.
Yeah, that was. I mean,
literally that field goal.
That was I mean, I expected it to miss. I mean, I was rooting for him to miss, to be honest, because I mean, I wanted to see the Panthers come out on top here, but that's football.
I was thinking about what I said, man. I want Baker to succeed so bad, but like it's really, really hard. I mean, he keeps playing like this.
Yeah,
it really is. I don't care. I feel like he'll bounce back after this. I feel like
I hope so. Really.
That too. Robbie Anderson didn't look too bad either.
Yeah.
100 yards.
I mean, like you said, that's 75-yard touchdown. That speaks for itself. Let's move on to probably the most disappointing game of the week. Yeah, the Colts and the Texans tie. I mean, that's all you really got to say to know what happened there.
Jonathan Taylor, he's still being Jonathan Taylor. 31.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor, good. Pittman, he had a good. I mean, well, at first he was a little slow, but as the game went on, he got that real nice touchdown. He's progressing, and that's looking good. Matt Ryan,
Matt Ryan did okay.
That really disappointed as a debut, and I mean the Texans. I mean, it's just it looked really good for starters. I mean, they were up 20-3, but they just blew that lead right away, and that was I mean, that's kind of what you expected from the Texans for the most part.
Yeah, I like it. Like, it was going to be very, very surprising the Texans walked away with this one, especially with the high hopes from Colts stands for with Matty Ice. Even Michael Pittman Jr., he did a really good game. 9 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown. Michael Pittman's going to be such a huge asset to this Colts offense. And if Matt Ryan knows how to utilize him very, very well, without looking at this game, I think the Colts probably would go far. But this game,
it's just, I mean, a game like this against a team like the Texans, it's hard.
It is very hard to pick. If they're going to do well, but if they can get Michael Pittman involved and they keep having games like this, and Matty Ice goes back to his vintage years, they're gonna be fine. But and then JT, man, still being JT. But I think the Colts can probably bounce back from this. Texans, I don't know. Low key, I think Texans can come out again and just long season for them as well. I don't see much from the Texans.
And just, I mean, the other thing about this game was Hot Rod Rodrigo Blankenship. He was a fan favorite there, and he missed. I mean, by no means a chip shot, but he missed I think a 42-yarder that would have won the game, would have kept us from this tie, and he's gone. He got cut. The Colts are on the look for a new kicker again.
Did the Cowboys pick him up?
You got Maher. You're fine.
All right, another very disappointing game from one team specifically. The Giants at the Titans. Oh boy.
Yeah. So I mean, the main thing for me, Saquon. He's back. I mean,
they called back. That was
he looked really good.
I
was really happy to see that. I got ridiculed by a couple of you guys that I took him in fantasy, but I mean, that's paying off right now.
One big run he had, I don't remember where it was, but that one big run he had, and I think it was in mid-game. Very, very good, going for 164 yards.
That 2-point conversion. Yeah. So, I mean, then it's just the other things to look at. It's, I mean, just a lot about the Titans just looks off. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, again, I mean, he had a couple glimpses of what you like to see from him, but it's kind of just back to the same old. He just hasn't been the answer for them.
It's just like what I said the other day. Ryan Tannehill is not good if Derrick Henry is not good. Derrick Henry was doing jack. Like, he wasn't doing anything. It was like very rare. And Tannehill. And
that's the thing about the Titans. They can only go as far as Derrick Henry takes them.
Yeah, really.
The way they're built right now, it's all Derrick Henry in that team.
It's what I said. If it's not Derrick Henry leading them to victory, then it's none of them, because Tannehill is clearly shown Tannehill can't succeed without him, and it does not look good for the Titans.
Yeah. So moving on, this was probably the game that we're most happy about, the Packers and the Vikings. That's my pick to win that division, they showed why I'm taking them. That was a really good game by Justin Jefferson, just to really put that out there. I mean, what did he have? 9 receptions for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just a hell of a game.
Dalvin Cook also looked good. 20 carries, 80 yards. It was actually very, very well. And, primetime Kirk, not primetime Kirk, but, Kirk Cousins going.
And then it's back to the same mold that you hear from, you want to think, just me, it excites me to see that the Packers didn't look that good. But at the same time, you see how they started last season. They got blown out by the Saints, and they bounced back and got the 1 seed. So you can't get too happy yet. We'll wait and see. But right now I'm really, really happy with how the Vikings are looking.
Yeah, man, Vikings looking very well. Jay Jettis carried me in fantasy this week. It was very, very outstanding. That one play where he was wide open. I have no idea why the Packers didn't have Jair Alexander on him for most of the time. I don't know. Was it Eric Stokes that was on him? And some other guy?
I don't know, but whoever it was,
yeah, I don't know why.
Where's your best guy?
Jair Alexander came out saying I don't know why he wasn't on him, which is very surprising because I feel if Jair was on him, it probably would have been a freaking nice game, It would have been 50-50 of the time. I don't think Justin Jefferson would have averaged what he averaged that game if Jair Alexander was covering him. I feel like he would just be shy of maybe 100, but other than that, I feel like Jair would probably lock him up. But regardless, walked away with this win, having high hopes for the Vikings. I feel like it could be a good season if Kirk keeps playing consistently. Dalvin Cook, get him good in the run game. Jay Jettis just being him. It'll be a good season.
Yeah, so moving on. Yeah.
The Chiefs and the Cardinals. This one is not a surprise at all. Mahomes going for 360 yards and 5 touchdowns. Ding Mahomes. Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, 121 yards. Very phenomenal. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a nice, good game. Should have started him in fantasy. I don't know what I was doing. Very, very mad. But yeah, not really much.
The same old. You see, losing Tyreek really wasn't a factor for them, at least so far.
Right now, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Cardinals have a lot of things to fix. Kyler Murray, I think he should stop being caught and just focus on
double XP weekend. So no wonder.
Man, Cardinals were not well. Still 21 points, but that was just on the garbage time. Couldn't get anything going in the first half. Barely any of the second half. It was just really, really ugly. So I don't really expect much from the Cardinals. Maybe a bounce back, but if Kyler doesn't fix what he did this game, I don't think the Cardinals are gonna do anything. And Kyler's probably gonna, who knows? Maybe I want to say off the team. I don't think he'll be cut, but
you're not gonna cut him. To be realistic.
Who knows, bro? What if he just?
I don't see that in any form.
I'm telling you right now, trade for Josh Rosen again.
Oh, if we're, genuinely, a trade. Yeah, didn't they already sign to a big deal?
But I feel I don't know. I've liked Kyler since he was drafted in, what, was it 2019?
19, yeah.
It was 19. And, I love Kyler, man. I really like Kyler. And I just really hope he's just same with Baker. But, Kyler, I have a soft spot for Kyler as well. But if he can't keep it going, if he can't stop doing what he's doing, then I don't think he'll be able to succeed, man.
Yeah. So moving on to the Raiders and the Chargers. This was just, probably the marquee matchup of the week, one of them at least. This was a really good game by Justin Herbert, really overall. He just looks strong. He's probably going to challenge Josh Allen for that MVP spot, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Herbert looked very, very well, getting the offense involved, really, really showing that he was worth it, really showing that he's really a top 10 quarterback. Maybe a stretch, very, very big stretch, but after that game, it really did show me. I low-key thought they were going to choke. Don't get me wrong. I thought they were going to choke.
The Raiders were pulling back.
They're going back. Devontae Adams going off, 10 catches, 141 yards and a touchdown. Derek Carr, 5 yards shy of 300 with 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, 57 yards with 10 carries, average 5 yards a carry. Not bad at all. I low-key thought that offense was going to pull through, but man, that Raiders defense, it was looking promising towards the end, but they just couldn't finish. and Chargers got away with this W, and
I mean, even without Keenan Allen, the Chargers just look really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
I thought Mike Williams was gonna get involved, but
exactly, and that's what killed me in fantasy. I mean,
Mike Williams, man, I
can't
don't
believe
think
he threw to him like twice the whole game, but hey, he didn't need him. I mean,
man, Khalil Mack was, I think it was the game-winning sack. No, it must have felt good.
Khalil Mack,
Khalil Mack very
great
well
pickup for the Chargers. That's one of the things that I said for the reason I think they're winning the West. I mean, that defense is going to be real strong this year.
Yeah, Khalil Mack really getting revenge on them. So,
yeah,
very, very well.
So let's move on to your game, Christian. I know you wanna speak your mind on what happened Sunday night. Let's get your thoughts.
Where do I start, man? We got the ball. First drive looked promising. First couple carries by Zeke he looked very, very well. He looks very, very slimmer. Looks a little faster. But Kellen Moore and McCarthy, especially after today, literally just showed McCarthy does not know our offense at all. Because he left too much for Kellen Moore. Like, come on, man. Like, Kellen Moore, he was doing too many fancy stuff. That one play, I think it was like an double end round to Zeke, and then try faking it and then pass to Pollard, lose 7 yards on that play. Like, man, just hand it to Zeke, hand it to Pollard. Zeke looked very, very well, averaging 5.4 yards a carry. I don't understand Kellen Moore's thought process. Oh, Zeke's hurt. Yeah, let's feed him real quick. Oh, Zeke's very healthy. Nah, let's just feed it to Dak when he has no protection on the O-line. His receivers aren't doing anything. CeeDee Lamb was doing very, very bad. Dennis Houston looked a little promising, but couldn't go anywhere. Noah Brown. I love Noah Brown since he got with us in 2017, but he just wasn't doing a lot, man. Especially on the outside help. Amari Cooper. He was our main asset on the outside. That's why Dak was able to succeed better like that on the outside. But no outside help, no nothing. Tyler Smith, our first round rookie, he looked good. I'm not gonna lie, Tyler Smith did look very, very good. But still, and then I think Connor McGovern, he's out with an injury in a couple weeks, and those flags were killing us. Defense was really stepping up for us. Micah Parsons being Micah Parsons, getting those 2 sacks on Brady. But man, really, the Bucs didn't score more than 7 points in each quarter. In the first 2 quarters, 6 points. In the third quarter, 7 points. So our defense was really stepping up. Michael Parsons is doing well. Anthony Brown getting cooked, which is very, very bad. Jaron Kearse was fine, but he's injured now. Dak injured. His thumb is injured, so he's gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks. I don't like that Jerry Jones is saying, "Oh, he could be back in 4 games." Like, no. They're rushing it instead of getting fully healed and possibly make a bigger run towards the end of the season. But, I'm just going to say it was a very, very horrible game. Very disappointed. I expected much from CeeDee Lamb. I expected a lot from Dak. Other than the no O-line help and the receivers not doing anything, it's going to be a long season. I have hopes for Cooper Rush that I feel like he can do well. He understands the system and the playbook more. Especially with the rumors with Jimmy G. I wouldn't mind having Jimmy G. It would have taken him a while to learn the playbook, but I feel like he can do it if we get him. If we were going to give up a couple, but other than that, I'm really having mixed feelings about this season. Saying, we could possibly, next 5 games, we could possibly win 3 out of those 2. 3 out of those 5, Anything could happen, but Micah Parsons stepping up. And it's just that Trayvon looked okay other than that touchdown. He looked okay. I feel like he's playing more in coverage now instead of being more of a ball hawk. He looked fine other than that touchdown. But other than that, it's going to be a long season for me, and I'm not going to like it.
Honestly, to me, it's like, your defense looks solid. The Cowboys defense looked really good because you were, they were on really keeping the Bucs down. They didn't really get anything going. Obviously, they only got 1 touchdown, and they had 6 or 7 red zone entrances, and only 1 touchdown. Kept getting a bunch of field goals. They had a missed field goal. Your defense looks really good. It's just the offense. 3 points. The only team. All 32 teams. The only team that didn't get in the end zone was the Cowboys. It's just there's a lot to work on from your offense, but it's, I mean, like you're saying, Micah Parsons just looked great. He was getting right through the Bucs O-line, kept getting to Brady, all the pressure, a couple sacks. I mean, he just built upon what he did last year, and it's just like you're saying. I mean, let's see how the season pans out, because it's looking, this might be pretty hard to go without Dak for a bit.
Yeah, man. It's be a long season. I'm not gonna like it. Hopefully, we can get away with being 3-5. Then Dak comes back, and then just like the 2018 and 19 season, 3-5, and then we bounce back 10-6. Win the division, win the first playoff game. Hopefully, it can be like that. But other than that, it's gonna be a very, very long season, and I'm gonna be very, 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 very sad, and it's gonna be horrible. But moving on, the final game Monday night, Broncos and the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
that was honestly really disappointing from Wilson. The Broncos' red zone offense, it's really, I mean, it.
2 fumbles and two straight fumbles, 2 straight red zone entries, and 2 fumbles. Man, that was horrible. They should have won that game if it wasn't for those 2
they
fumbles.
should have. I mean, especially, I mean, the big talking point of the game, that clock management at the end. I mean, I don't know what Nathaniel Hackett was thinking. I mean,
they're trying to draw him offside. It was horrible.
I mean, if you want to draw him offside, you get to the line quick.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I mean, you waited you ran the whole clock out all the way until the end. I mean, that's just. I mean, he just looked like he didn't know what he was doing. I mean, I really
understood that when they're trying to get that field goal, but 65 yards, that was very, very stupid.
I mean, the main thing is, like, I mean, you pay Russell Wilson like $250 million in that big, nice extension, and you can't even trust him on 4th and 5.
I think he has a 69% success rating on 4th and 5s and shorter. I don't have no idea why they didn't go for that. It was very, very disappointing.
I don't know. The everything about the end of that game, everything about the Broncos, it's looking weird. I mean, I don't know about them making the playoffs if things continue like this. And I mean, probably the surprise of the week is Geno Smith. He played a pretty good game, man.
I was actually happy for Geno Smith, man.
Yeah, I mean, you really just a real good game, real good quote at the end too, man.
Very solid.
They wrote him up, he came right back. I mean, that's a real. I mean, he did good. I mean, was it like right away to start the game? He had that real nice throw to one of his tight ends to get them on the board. And I mean, they didn't score at all in the second half, which is, I mean, a little iffy, but the defense held up. And
the defense, especially with Jamal Adams out now with an injury,
that's going to be a blow for them.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Blitz boy, but who knows?
Yeah, well, that wraps up the recap on week 1. So, any takeaways? Any extra takeaways from this first week back in football?
It was good games. Not gonna lie, some good games, some disappointing games. Other than that, man, football's back.
Yeah, just to me, it's just those kickers, man.
Those kickers are horrible.
It was a weird week for the kickers. Just a lot of back and forth misses, and
it was very bad for the kickers.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how they move on into week 2. Week 2. Let's get started with the previews.
Let's kick it off.
Yeah, let's get started right away with our first real Thursday Night Football. First time on Prime Video. We got the Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. What's your thoughts on that one? Let's get it started.
I feel like that one's going to be a very, very exciting game. Jay Herbo and that very, very amazing defense. I'm going with the Chiefs, though. I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm going Chiefs with this game.
I'm going to have to say Chargers here.
I
mean, just to really solidify how I'm saying, they're my 2 seed. They're my AFC West winner. I really think Herbert's just going to keep pushing. It's going to be I'm seeing a shootout here, but I mean I really think a good game, and maybe he starts throwing to Mike Williams a little more, but really I I see the Chargers coming out of this one.
What opposite ends is done?
Yeah,
Stick
so
with the Chiefs.
let's move right along. The Patriots and the Steelers, a real historic matchup here, and just quickly, I'm going Steelers.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm going Steelers. You know,
I mean,
Mr.
just the way the Patriots looked last week, they're looking really, really weak, and I think the Steelers are riding high on this win. I think Trubisky's gonna try to build on anything he had last week, clean up a couple mistakes, and he'll.
Trubisky looks solid. Other than those like iffy throws and stuff, you know, he did look really good. I'm really happy for Mr. Trubisky. So I feel the same thing. Steelers are gonna walk away with this win.
Yeah, so let's keep it right along. We got the Panthers at the Giants, and to me, yeah, I'll say Panthers. I think
Panthers. I feel like Baker can be.
I think this is where Baker really starts getting his footing. I mean, the Giants.
This is where Baker
Giants are riding high. Yeah, Giants are riding high on their win last week.
Yeah.
To me, this is going to be more of a somewhat of a reality check, and I think Baker has a kind of get. I mean, he'll get set in today. I mean, on Sunday. And
hoping for Baker comeback, and yeah, Panthers are getting away with this W.
Yeah, and next up we got the Jets at the Browns, and
Browns.
I mean, I'll say the Browns. I mean, the Jets they look really poor. Maybe Sauce Gardner can make a difference for that defense in this game, but I mean, the Browns honestly looked all right. So I mean,
Brissett playing good.
I feel Brissett's gonna. I mean, we'll see how Brissett does against Gardner's defense.
You know, Nick Chubb going again like he did a couple days ago, going for 100. I think it was 150. No.
I mean, he
141.
He had a yeah.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, taking the Browns on this one.
Yeah, Browns for sure. So next up, Colts at Jaguars. Gotta go Colts. I see them getting their first win this week. Yeah.
No brainer.
Yeah, just I mean, the main thing, I think Matty Ice finally gets it going. I mean, against a real subpar team against the Jaguars. They haven't won in Jacksonville in I don't know how many years. It's been a good couple years, but I think that is this year.
I'll break. I feel like this is going to be the game where they break.
I think this. I mean, if Matt Ryan gets it going with Pittman, I think they're gonna see a real good game out of the Colts. So I'll see them getting their first win here. Jaguars dropping to 0-2 here. So now we got pretty good game. We got the Dolphins at the Ravens.
Ravens.
I'll probably say Ravens. Yeah. You seem to be in agreement with all these. I mean, it's the Tua look good. I mean,
Tua's looking good. Tyreek's looking good.
Yeah, but I mean, Lamar just the Ravens overall, and that defense I feel might exploit Tua a little bit. But I mean, I feel it'll be a close enough game. But I see the Ravens.
Lamar played very well, and if they can't contain Lamar and when he runs, even when he passes, he looked very, very well. I don't think the Dolphins are going to get away with this, so I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, so moving on from that, we got the Buccaneers at the Saints.
Buccaneers.
This is one.
It's going to be a good game, but
yeah, you want to say Buccaneers, and I'm probably going to say Buccaneers, but it's just the Saints are just that team that always gives the Bucs issues.
It is true.
Every regular season, it's just really hard. I mean, even with just Brady in general, he struggles against the Saints, but
yeah,
I think it's in New Orleans, but I see Brady coming out and
I feel like there's gonna be that one game here. I feel like there's gonna be that one game where they don't do bad against the Saints, so I'm gonna go Bucs.
Yeah. And moving on, Commanders at the Lions.
Commanders.
I'm gonna say the Lions. I really think. I mean, the Commanders, they look good, but it was they don't look too good, but they looked all right against a really weak Jaguars team. So, and just the Lions, who they really show that they got that spirit of a team. I think they'll really bring it out against probably a weaker opponent in the Commanders. So I think Jared Goff has a solid game this week.
I think with my Commanders, I think Wentz can do okay, but Commanders.
Yeah, so next up, Seahawks at the 49ers. And this is probably one that, I mean, it's a little hard to get. The Seahawks always give the Niners problems. and just in the position that you don't know how Trey Lance is looking, the Seahawks are actually looking a little surprising.
Going Seahawks.
I think the Niners. I'm gonna say the Niners. I think they bounce back. I don't think they're gonna drop to 0-2. They're too good of a team to drop it. I think the Seahawks get somewhat of a reality check, and Geno might struggle a little bit against Bosa.
That's where I want to agree with you too. I think this just could have been like a one-game thing with Geno Smith, but I don't know, man. I feel like Geno could possibly.
I take your pick.
Seahawks. I feel like
Right
they
on your
possibly
pick, man.
going Seahawks.
Go for it, man. So here's my game. Here's the big one. I mean, the Falcons coming into SoFi. It's got to be a bounce back. We got to see the Rams bounce back, and I mean, I really want to see Stafford targeting Allen Robinson more this week. I mean, he really kind of was non-existent last week, but I see. I mean, the Falcons they did all right last week. Obviously, they got the win against. I mean, they didn't get the win, but they played a real solid game against a solid Saints team. But I'm thinking this will be an easier challenge for the Rams, and probably I hope it gets the running game going. I hope the O-line gets a little stronger here, and I mean I'll see the Rams coming out on top here.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, moving on. Cardinals take on another AFC West opponent in the Raiders. They head to Vegas. I'm probably going to say the Raiders. I don't think they're dropping 0-2, especially not against the Cardinals. They're not looking too strong. I'm going to say Carr and Devontae get their first win together, and they'll take down the Cardinals.
I'm going to have to agree with you on them. The Raiders, man. Devontae Adams can get going early, get up with their Carr. If that O-line can really give them protection, Raiders are coming out with this dub.
Yeah. Next up, the Texans at the Broncos. I don't know. Let's see if your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's going to be this time. I mean, I hope Nathaniel Hackett can get things right.
Maybe he can actually coach well.
I don't see them really struggling too much. I mean, I feel hopefully this is a game where I mean, they learn from whatever happened, whatever they thought they were doing against the Seahawks, and really like try to settle themselves here. I mean, they're at home, so that should kind of help them a little bit. But I think they'll easily get past the Texans.
Yep.
We got your matchup coming up. We got the Bengals coming to AT&T Stadium. Let's see the Bengals at the Cowboys. What's your thoughts on this?
Where I start, man? Okay, literally, that O-line not gonna do us any good. Cooper Rush, I have mixed feelings about Cooper Rush. He did lead the victory against the Vikings last year, so I will give him that. That defense is really gonna have to carry, and if I don't care, man, I'm going with my Cowboys. I have to. I'm going with my Cowboys out of being biased. If we can get Zeke early game, I think it could be an easy W for us. If Trayvon can contain Jamar Chase, it's going to be a very, very nice matchup. But if Trayvon can contain Jamar, I feel like the Cowboys can get away with this and prove that Cooper Rush will be fine for the next upcoming weeks. But if we lose, then it just shows a lot now. And I don't think I would have faith, but I'm going with my Cowboys, man.
I'm honestly torn between this because, I mean, I really want to take the Cowboys, honestly, just with their defense. And honestly, that's probably why I am going to take the Cowboys because, I mean, that defense going against the mixture of the Bengals O-line and just Joe Burrow really struggling, I really think they're going to get the better of them. And
yeah, and Quinn doing a phenomenal job, man. You know, Dan Quinn.
So I'm going to take the Cowboys here.
Yeah, man. Cowboys. Let's get that.
Yeah. So up next, Sunday Night Football. It's our second Sunday nighter. We got the Bears at the Packers, the oldest rivalry in the NFL.
Give me the Packers again.
Yeah.
Packers again. I don't need to explain. It's the Packers.
I'd say the Packers.
You know how Aaron Rodgers is against the Bears, so I'm going Packers. I don't need to go more into depth.
I'd love to say Fields. It's it's like you said. Aaron Rodgers just really brings out his best against the Bears. So I mean, I really see he'll probably get his footing set. This will, I mean, be a bounce back for him. See, maybe he can get it going with his rookie receivers, just that whole young core, and I see the Packers bouncing back 1-1 this week. And to top it off, we got 2 Monday night games. You usually see that week 1, but this time let's get it week 2. We got the Titans at the Bills.
Bills.
To me, straightforward. I mean, you see the Titans really struggling, even against the Giants. So I feel like they're really going to struggle against the Bills. It's going to be a long night for them, to me. So I mean, I say Josh Allen just really tears up their defense.
Josh Allen looked very well. Stephon Diggs, last year, very inconsistent game sometimes. But, hey, if he can stay consistent this game and really go back to his old stuff like he was in Minnesota, I feel like Bills can go far this season. And they're for sure going to walk away with this dub next week. So I'm sticking with the Bills.
Yeah. And the last game of week 2, our second Monday nighter, Vikings at Eagles. I'm going to take the Vikings.
I'm taking the Vikings as well.
You see the Eagles struggled in this game against the Lions. So I'm going to have to say the Vikings just, they'll double down after a big win against the Packers. They'll probably have a somewhat easier matchup against the Eagles. They just hope they don't underestimate them, but I mean, because you never know. Jalen Hurts could pop off for a really good game, and it probably will be a good game. But I'm gonna go on my gut and say the Vikings.
Especially with that Eagles secondary, like very very horrible, So Jay Jettas, he's gonna go federal that game again. Gonna have a field day, so Vikings.
Yeah. And that's gonna wrap up our week 2 preview. And basically wraps up the entirety of episode 3. Got any closing remarks from you?
Nothing, man. Probably have an episode up. I want to say maybe Friday, discuss fantasy. That's down to maybe. We're still kind of thinking about that right now, especially with the schedule.
Will be up by tomorrow. I'll get this
job
out by tomorrow.
We'll try and get one up Friday for fantasy again, depending how our schedules are. But we're going to try. But, yeah, other than that, man, this concludes episode 3.